A very good morning to all of you, dear students. Our lesson number 10, the sermon at Banaras, is continued. Yesterday we started doing the exercise work. Page number 136. Under the heading Speaking, two recent texts on the topic of grief are given. Yesterday I explained you one and concluded that grief is an emotion natural to all types of loss or significant change. Although grief is unique and personal, it is expressed through a broad range of feelings and behaviors like sadness, anger, guilt, self-reproach, anxiety, loneliness, fatigue, disbelief, etc. All these are commonly experienced after the death of a loved one. So, we must reach out to others in their grief, understand their feelings, and be patient, be calm. Let the grieving person know that we care and are there to support him or her in this critical situation. We did one text, I explained you. Now, the second text which is given, that is good grief. Page number 137. Soon after my wife died, her car slid here means slid off an icy road in 1985. A school psychologist in Hindi you can call manovigyanik, a scientist who studies the mind and the way that people behave, warned me that my children and I were not mourning here means grieving in the right way. We felt angry. What he is saying, that the car slipped in the year 1985 and my wife, she left this materialistic world. She was no more, and one of the psychologists, what he said, warned me, alerted me, cautioned me that my children and I were not grieving in a proper way. We felt angry. On listening this, we felt angry, we felt annoyed. The proper first stage, he said, he told us, the proper first stage is denial. Denial means refusal. A refusal to accept that something unpleasant or painful has happened. This is the first stage, he told us. There is in late August, what happened then? In late August this year, my 38-year-old son, Michael, died suddenly in his sleep. After one happening, the another happening. What happened? That my son, he is saying that my son suddenly died in sleep, leaving behind a 2-year-old son. It means at a very young age, 2-year-old son leaving behind, and a wife expecting their next child. She was pregnant, she was expecting the next child. At such a young age, the son also died. There is no set formula for grief. Now what is stress? We discussed the different forms, how one can express the grief. There is no set form for grief and no right way to express it. There seems to be an expectation. Expectation here means a hope. There seems to be a hope that after a great loss, we will progress systematically through the well-known stages of grief. For this, there is no certain rule. It is wrong. We are told to jump to anger. What we are told? Jump to anger. Or to wallow. Wallow means to live dirtily. Or you can say to think about your unhappiness all the time and seems to be enjoying. Remain in that miserable condition. Think about that. Wallow too long in this stage before moving towards acceptance. Before moving towards acceptance, we have to go through all these. But this is wrong. There is no certain rule. But I was and am angry. He is stressing, I was angry. Why? Why I was angry? To make parents bury their children is wrong. To have both my wife and son taken from me forever and a day is cruel beyond words. What is saying? That I was angry. Although it is advised not to be angry, but I was angry. Why I was angry? Because it is very difficult when the parents have to bury their children. He has lost his wife, then his young son, his sadness, his grief is not to be explained here. Forever a day he is stressing is cruel beyond words. This cannot be explained in the words. A relative from Jerusalem, what it would? Who is a psychiatrist? Psychiatrist means one who treats the mental diseases. Manorog Chikitsak brought some solace. Solace means comfort. He gave me some comfort by citing. By citing means by mentioning a maxim. Maxim is a saying. What he said? We are not to ask why. We don't have to ask why this thing has happened. But what? We have to stress what now we can do. We have to think it. The what is that which family, close friends and I keep busy. That which survivor in griefs are bound to do for one another. What we have to think, ki what we can do, those who are the remaining, those who are the survivors, what they can do, how they can support. Following that advice, after following this advice, my family, close friends and I keep busy calling each other and giving long answers to simple questions like, how did your day go today? After this advice, now what we try? We call each other, discuss simple questions like, how did you spend your day? We try to avoid thinking about either the immediate past, we avoid discussing about the past, or the bereft. Bereft is the sad and lonely future. So we don't recall the past, we don't discuss what will happen in future. We take turns playing with Max, Michael's 2-year-old son. We keep ourselves busy, we play with that 2-year child. Friends spend nights with the young widow. My friends, my relatives, they spend the time with the young widow and will be among those holding her hand when the baby is born. And they all will hold hands here means they all will spurt when the baby is to be born. Focusing on what we do for one another is the only consolation we can find. What is this? That only consolation is that what we can do for each other. There was a question. The question was on the page number 136, where it was stressed that read these two texts, comparing them with each other and with the Buddha's sermon. Do you think the Buddha's ideas and the way of teaching continue to hold meaning for us even today? Now, I have explained you both the text. So what we can say, yes, Buddha's ideas and way of teaching continue to hold meaning for us even today. He gave us a message how to deal with grief. He told us personal losses are a part and parcel of life. Instead of wailing on them, we should move on in life. If people do not understand the practicability of life, they will be under stress, which would in turn affect their personal and professional lives. One needs to understand that everyone who is born will have to die sooner or later. So one should face the truth and move on in life. That was all about this lesson. Go through the lesson, do the question answers, prepare the lesson fully. Thank you. Have a nice day.